chamber, so that when they came to us with a lawsuit, we would then just come back to them with a lawsuit. And so you
It
can't,
was chess.
so it's just chess. It was just like,
Yeah.
you know, and I think a lot of, I don't know for sure, but I assume that all the all the lawsuits between Apple and Amazon and Facebook and Google, all them, they're really there more to hold a stalemate than they are to actually make progress.
They're more for indigestion than they are for actual profit. And you know, I've had inventors, you know, and I tell them it's like one of the reasons why you have a good comprehensive search done and you have a registered patent attorney write it is because if what you need to protect you is this big, then what you ask for is this big because the examiner is going to push you down to this big. And so if you can land in the middle with what you need to protect your idea and you're bumping up against the other stuff that is out there, it's harder for someone to squeeze in there. And, you know, they say, oh, if you just change it by 10%, you can get around somebody's patent. No, not if they've done it right.
That's great information, Rita, but we just started the live stream. So.
There you go. Sorry. Okay.
No worries. Good deal.
No worries. Good stuff, though. We will pick that up here in a minute. But I think we're live. We had a few gremlins, not as bad as last time. But let me start out with this. Did a 19-year-old invent the first four-door car? Do we now have a real-life wolf version of Jurassic Park? And why does one inventor say his product is full of crap? So these and other interesting topics we're going to discuss tonight at the April edition. Happy April, everybody. Spring is on its way. Inventor Friday. I'm Don Skaggs, your host, chief cook and bottle washer around here. And with me tonight is also Leo York. Leo, tell everybody who you are.
Hey, everybody. Leo here. Yeah, vice president and copywriter and doing a lot of stuff. Yeah, nice to meet you all.
Co-host, wingman, and just keeping me out of trouble. Also with us tonight is Paula Blankenship. Paula, tell us who you are or what you're all about.
Well, I started a paint brand in my kitchen at age 50 and grew it to one of the largest paint sold online and the largest paint seller on Amazon today. And we're a manufacturer, the largest employer in Spencer County. And we believe in made in the USA, and we promote that every day with our all-in-one paint product. So it's been a great little story and amazing. I was Entrepreneur of the Year for Ernst & Young this year, which is kind of an unbelievable thing. I'm also not even a high school graduate. So I'm here tonight to encourage you. If you want to do it, you can do it. So no matter how old you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter what your education is, you can do it. If you believe in it, you can walk the walk. You can get there.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said that better myself. Also with us tonight is Stacy Beeler. Stacy,
Yes.
Tell us who you are. Tell
Yes.
us what you're all about.
So my name is Stacy Beeler. I'm actually from Liberty, Kentucky. I'm the owner of a cut and sew facility called Stitch Kentucky. We can sew anything that has thread in it. So if you need something sewn, call us. One of our major companies who we've sewn for is Toyota Bashoku, and we sewed over 5,000 car door panels a day in the top of our peak of our work with Toyota Bashoku. So no project is too big or too small. I also am an entrepreneur. I actually introduced entrepreneurship in my community years ago. I remember telling the school superintendent that I wanted to teach an entrepreneurship class, and he said, well, I've never heard of that. So we've done a lot since then. I have a patent for a children's product. And I also was Whirlpool's Mother of Invention contest winner back in the early 2000s. So I've got a lot of things under my belt.
If it's got thread in it, we do it. I
That's
like
exactly
that.
right.
Maybe that needs to be like a slogan or something.
That's right.
Also with us tonight is returning guest Drew Sutton. Drew, tell everybody all about yourself.
Yeah, hey, it's a pleasure to be back. So I'm a former chief engineer from a big aerospace defense firm. I have 30 patents. I've invented software. I've run big teams. And that was all in a previous life. And so now I'm an executive coach, and I help businesses find the breakthrough that they want.
Cool. And switching the cameras and making sure we all look good and everything's running right is Gina Kelly. Is it Gina or Eugenia?
My
online?
inventor name is Eugenia.
Well, there we go.
Thanks to
Eugenia
my
Kelly.
mother named me after my father. My name is Eugenia Kelly. I live here in Nicholasville. Thank you to Dawn and Leo for letting me help out. And I have found one patent. I'm an aspiring inventor.
Cool. All right. Well, let's see. Couple of things here. You definitely want to check out if you're watching us on YouTube and you don't know where we are. Well, you need to go to kyinventors.org, and that is this website right here. So kyinventors.org, we have all kinds of cool things going on all the time. You can become a member. Here's where we were selling products in real life, the Kentucky State Fair this past year. We've got all kinds of swag. We've got Empowered Inventing Academy. We have meetings. Oh, look, here's the Inventor Friday Live that's going on right now. So check us out. We've got all kinds of things going on and new stuff coming all the time. So you definitely want to check it out at kyinventors.org. Also, if you go all the way down to the bottom, you can check out our YouTube channel, Empowered Inventing TV. We've got over 300 videos on that channel now, including live stream replays. So you definitely want to check all those things out. We want to recognize our sponsor, who is giving us the wonderful gig internet that we're using, and that is Windstream Kinetic Business. You just type in kineticbusiness.com, and you can enjoy the internet that we get to blast this show all over cyberspace. So all right, let me jump into one of the first things here. We're going to talk about some. Let's start off with Rita. Leo's just reminded me. So we have with us tonight Rita Crompton. Rita is the inventor lady, who we've known for years, and Rita had a really cool show that she was involved with, and she's going to tell us all. Give us an update on ASD Market Week. Am I saying it right, Rita?
You are. ASD Market Week. It stands for Affordable Shopping Destination. We keep telling them they need to change that to be America Stands Determined. We keep letting them know that. But we had 25 inventors there. We had 1,000 square feet, right close to the entrance by the concession area. So great location, and people would come in and they were invited to vote for their favorite new product. But everybody who took inventory sold it all. They sold everything they had and took orders. Wow. It was amazing. And the cool thing about ASD is that they are business, sell, sell, sell. And they're one of the few business to business shows that is actually open to the consumer. So somebody could come in and buy one of something. So we had AcuPress Ear, which was a new product. I'm the licensing agent for that one. That was the first time I'd ever met these guys, was when they came to the show. But it's a headset that fits on your ear that's got little acupressure points. So there's, no needle sticking in you. I am not kidding. I've got a really bad back. I tried it the first day. I could hardly even move. 5 minutes on this thing. I didn't need it the rest of the time I was there. They sold every single one they had. My sister ordered one. My mother ordered one. Everybody in the family is now using AcuPressure. And, there was another guy there from Hawaii. He heard me, I think, on one of your meetings, and he went with us.
I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
He has this cool fire extinguisher that puts out a lithium fire. So your plane doesn't crash anymore. They just put out the fire. It's so wonderful. And it's all biodegradable. But the really cool story was this guy came down. I had met him last year, tall, handsome guy, and just was really angsty about why he wasn't in our booth. And it's like, I don't know, we met you last year. Don't know why you didn't call me. Showed me his product. Very cool product. All right. So he and his wife are in a booth by themselves upstairs. He goes, I will be with you next year. Sounds great. Here's my sign-up sheet. Then come to find out he works for the NFL. All right. So he leaves now, and there's a guy there with a new athletic training product. And I go, So Craig, tell me about how this would work for the NFL. Oh my God, he gets so excited and he says it would be perfect for them. It's like, okay. So 6 o'clock in the morning, I call Len and say, you need to come back down here so we can get your opinion on this. He loves it. He comes back down. He talks to the guy for about a half hour and takes his information. He asked me, you're the licensing agent, right? I'll communicate with you. So now he goes off for the day. The guy standing next to the athletic guy, he's got tools. So I send him now over to Tolson Tools because I'd met these guys the year before. They had one of our other products. He comes back to me about an hour later and he goes, okay, he's really mad at me. That means he's mad at you and you need to go talk and be nice to him. And I suggest you take a 6-pack of beer. Okay, go buy me the 6-pack. I will go over and talk to him. So I go over and I'm talking to Neil and he goes, talking about this guy and he's got such attitude. I said, he's Irish. What can I tell you? But he has really good products. So we're having a beer and he goes, but you want to know what's really cool? This guy from the NFL came over and he was showing me this product that he wants me to make a prototype for. Was his name Len by any chance? He goes, yeah, it was. And so Len has already gone to get manufacturing for this athletic tool. And I said, would you like to come over and actually see the prototype for this guy? And oh, by the way, bring that beer because these two guys are standing right next to each other. So we go back over to the booth. He gets to see the prototype he's been asked to build, and we all stand around and drink a beer together. But you never know who you're going to meet. It was just wonderful. It really was. And there were people from all over the big chains there coming and shopping. We had other licensing offers for other products. I think Len, the football guy, has got 3, and Tolson Tools, the tool guy, he's got 2. And so, yeah, it was a really great show. We're planning on going in 2026. We've already got people signing up. So, and I have not had any caffeine before this meeting tonight. I just get really excited.
It's all pure,
so
just innovative energy.
That is true.
And that's the great thing about trade shows. They really do energize you like that.
They do.
So,
That eye-to-eye contact was just amazing. And for the folks who were there, and like the athletic training, he had one functioning prototype to his name. That was it. Everybody had to come to us to look at it, and they did, and they were interested. We had other guys that were selling, or taking orders of 1,000 to have logos put on things. And so it really didn't matter where they were, one of a kind prototype or, taking orders. And it was wonderful. Some of the folks got really good feedback, wanted to get, some additional intellectual property done, signed their licensing agreements. So yeah, it was really an amazing show. And so we'll go back next year. And we did radio live from the show. And it was an hour, and it was so much fun, and it went over so well that Michael told me that we will be doing all 3 hours next year from the show.
all right, cool.
So,
When's your next show drop?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Tomorrow,
all right.
Tomorrow, yeah.
All right.
We will be out coast to coast, and now we're videotaping. So we've got YouTube TV. And so all of our recordings are going out there. So Stacy will be one of the first ones that actually goes out on our YouTube TV.
Fantastic. All right. So stay tuned, everybody.
Yeah. Anybody wants to be on the radio, man, it's free to get out there and talk about how cool your product is. And
absolutely.
We'd love to have you. Dawn
thanks
has been
so
on
much,
a whole
Rita.
bunch
We
of
really
times.
appreciate it.
Yep.
And stay tuned. We're gonna be talking to all our other folks. And so thank you, Leo, for reminding me about that. And now let's kind of jump right into some inventions in history. And we're going to start way back, April 8th, 1766. One of the first fire escape designs was patented, which consisted of a wicker basket on a pulley and chain. Let me pull this up and show you, because this is just kind of strange. And well, actually, I can't show you. And the reason why, I can show you something, but it's not really it. So I guess they didn't have drawings as well as pictures back in 1766, or they lost the drawing. Somebody noted it here, and I thought that, well, that's really interesting. But then this picture has nothing to do with it, unless they're in a wicker basket and they're upside down, and which I really kind of doubt. This company, actually, I think it was an attorney group, and I thought, okay, this is it. And no, it's not it. It's like other fire escapes, and I think this guy's climbing down a ladder. So they really didn't have anything on this. This is about the only thing I could find. And it's a takeout service with a wicker basket lowering it down from a fire escape. So anyway, but I just thought this was interesting. The first fire escape was a wicker basket, and it was just lowered down by a chain on a pulley. So I guess my question is, do you think this was safe?
I think it was something somebody came up with during the fire. It's like a MacGyver kind of situation. So yeah, probably not. But I mean, it's probably the best thing they had at the time.
Was there?
But it's
Was
burning.
I wonder if there was a big fire back then and made someone think of it.
That's maybe, yeah. What year was that?
1766.
When was the Chicago fire? I wonder. When they kicked over a lantern or whatever.
Yeah, I was 1800.
Okay, so yeah, this was.
Yeah, yeah.
well
I think this
before
might have been
that.
England too.
Oh.
So
It looks like London.
Yeah.
yeah,
The fires in London.
yeah, fires in London, and there probably weren't very many multi-story buildings either.
So I think a brick building can only be 5 stories tall. I think it takes steel and concrete to get above that.
Mm.
What wasn't that what Carnegie did when he came out with steel?
That was one of the big things, is that you could build higher than 5 stories.
Mm.
As long as you had structural steel. Yeah, don't get me started on Carnegie, because then I'll go into graphene and it'll just be all over.
I think he bought his reputation. Like,
Oh yeah, he did. It was a Bessemer, wasn't it?
yeah, he intentionally went to England, and he left Schwab, I think, in charge of getting rid of this bunch of squatters where he wanted to do some mining. And he was like, take care of that. I'm going to England. And then some pretty atrocious things happened. And he came back and he was like, I can't believe he did that.
Oh, wow.
After he was really rich, he was like, oh, I should buy a bunch of, I should put my name on a bunch of libraries. And then everybody will remember me as this philanthropist. And nobody will remember that stuff, right? So
Yeah.
you were talking about the importance of a name. So he has this institute that's all about leadership. And it's a good institute. I'm not picking on the Carnegie Institute, but
Branding.
how he got there was not the way that he finished there. That's all I'm saying.
It's all about branding and PR, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
first soup kitchen, if I remember right, was started by Al Capone, which is so weird to
Really?
think about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody really remembers him for that, but
Did they call it Al Capone?
I don't think he did that. That's the problem. He didn't capitalize on that. Yeah.
Maybe we don't go
Right.
there.
Right.
Not that hungry.
Oh, what say you, Paula?
Yeah. What say you, Don? What's
You think
that?
this was innovative for 1766? A
Sure.
wicker
Just
basket,
done
a
it in the
chair?
fire.
Well,
I jumped in the basket. I would jump in the basket for sure.
I guess it would be all right. I keep thinking the wicker
The
basket's
pulley
going.
worries me more than the basket.
Yeah, the pulley getting stuck on a
Or no,
chain.
going down too fast.
Oh,
Jumping into it and down it goes. That's how my head sees it, but.
yeah. You think
Or you're
they're
trying to
maybe
stop
holding
it,
on to the
you're trying to stop
chain
it,
and they're
it's
trying
catching
to,
you down,
yeah.
Dragging you into the pulley, seeing all kinds of bad things there.
Oh,
I
goodness.
keep thinking of the wicker basket's going to catch fire. I don't know.
Yeah, that's, seems,
I was thinking I would pick a different container.
yeah,
then,
but they didn't have plastic.
well, that's
It
true.
would've been Metal,
Yeah,
some sort of a metal.
yeah, that might have got hot. So
What's your
That
take,
might have burned
Stacy?
you up right there.
Wow, I don't know. That's the first time I've ever heard of that, but I'm visualizing that would be something fun for kids to play with now. That could be a new toy for the backyard. Put the friend in a basket and pull it up and down.
oh, I can hear the attorneys now.
That's true.
Oh,
Please invent that.
yeah.
That's right.
I can see that though.
Daryl
Average-
Isaacs is
Yeah,
already
yeah.
spoken
Yeah,
over here.
yeah, get that going.
I think the average American back at that time was much more athletic than we are,
That's
and
true.
a much
Yeah.
smaller person than we are.
Sure.
Very
Like-
true.
So I think, I mean, a good solid wicker basket's probably pretty strong.
Yeah.
When you put a 90, 120-pound person in it that is moderately athletic anyway,
Going down 5 stories tops.
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
When I was in just graduated high school, I went out to New Mexico and taught a bunch of kids how to backpack. And so we had to hang bear bags, and the kids got their bear bag stuck up on this wire. So I threw my bear bag up and I put one foot in the bear bag, and then I hoisted myself up,
Oh, my.
and then I held both strands of the rope while I tried to like untangle theirs. And in retrospect, that was not the safest thing.
Whatever to let
You're
go.
being a role model for risk.
I was, yeah, so anyway, I can just see that happening, you know, somebody up there, better than dying.
Better than, yeah, well,
Yeah, when you think of the alternatives, I'd rather get in a basket and take my best shot than jump. Or, you know,
yeah.
wait and see how the fire goes. Yeah.
Right, exactly. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. Let's see. April 3rd. No, wait, I'm jumping ahead. Well, now let's jump ahead. Just another century or two. April 1908. And this one I thought was kind of interesting. 19-year-old Thomas Fallwick designed and built the first four-door automobile, the Fallwick Flyer. I love that name, by the way, in his own auto shop in Sioux City, South Dakota. Let's take a look at this. This is kind of a real interesting thing. Let's get away from the lady with the wicker basket. Thomas Fallwick Flyer. I think that's an actual picture. Oh no, this is actually Teddy Roosevelt was in one. So and more on that here in a second. But in 1908, 19-year-old Thomas L. Fallwick built an original automobile in his shop on West 13th Street in Sioux Falls. Originally named the Silent Sioux and later the Fallwick Flyer. I think is a much better name. The car could seat 5 passengers. It was also had 4 doors. It was supposed to be the first 4-door. It was made of aluminum instead of steel. That was kind of an innovation. 4-cylinder horsepower, 40 horsepower, engine propelled the car up to 60 miles an hour, which I think that's pretty fast for 1908. Yeah, no seatbelts back then either. So, which was funny because I think the speed limit was 7 miles an hour in Sioux Falls. So,
Autobahn.
yeah. So he built only 5 automobiles, sold them for $3,000 each. One variant included doors for both the front and rear compartments, making it the first 4-door automobile ever manufactured in the U.S. And I don't know what's more fascinating here, the fact that he built the first 4-door car in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or that he had Teddy Roosevelt ride in his car, and that was kind of his.
Or that Henry Ford takes the credit.
Yeah, right. Well, then there's that, right?
It's me, yeah.
Yeah. So here's some more pictures. This is actually a portrait of him. He lived till 1978. That's pretty wild. And you can actually see one. The Siouxland Heritage Museums. So if you're in Sioux City, South Dakota, and you want to see the Fallwick Flyer, well, they have it in the museum. I'd like to go see that myself.
Yeah.
Where the Ford vehicle is, why this one is more not recognized and Ford was.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ask me who invented the first car in the United States,
He didn't.
Ford.
He didn't make very many of these either, and this was kind of the other thing, because if you go over to the patents, because you can do a patent search, and here's all of Thomas Fallwick's flyers, patents. So I think this is the same guy, Thomas Levi Fallwick.
Weird.
So he has over 300 patents out there. So I'm wondering, some of them are like for gaskets, some of them are for just like auto parts, some of them are just all kinds of different things. So I thought that was just really, really interesting that he had all these different parts and pieces, all these other patents, all these other products he came out with, and he made a few cars, and he's like, I want to go on and make these parts. So, well, number one, I guess there were more. I would think that was more boring to make than that. But do you think they made more money?
Maybe.
And
$3,000 a pop back then was probably like 6
300.
figure. Yeah. So he probably did well. I'll say that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Not many people could afford to buy that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that could
That's
have
why
been.
it's seen Roosevelt in it.
That was probably the problem, really. Ford's got the assembly lines, and this guy's got a luxury product.
Did you say that preceded Ford inventing a car?
it was a first 4-door, wasn't it?
I was doing a quick scan and the
Yes.
old wiki, which take it or leave it. Was talking, so they're about the same time period.
Okay,
Yeah.
all
It
right.
doesn't say who was first.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and Ford never really claimed to be the first. He was the.
And that's
assembly
probably
line.
why
Yeah,
right there.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
probably exactly
He
why.
made cars
He
affordable.
probably
made
saw
cars.
it and
Yeah.
thought, I don't know how to manufacture that thing. And
Yeah.
that guy's gonna make 3 and quit. And I'm gonna make 3 zillion of them.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. So the Model A was in 1903 is what the old wiki says. And
Oh.
then actually to be more accurate, the old Google scrape of wiki. Like it's the face of Google is what it said. And then 1908 was the Model T, which also is a 4-door. So I think Ford was probably copying the guy's work, maybe
Sounds
buying
like
the
it.
guy's parts. Maybe that's the reason he has so many
Maybe
parts.
that's might
That
be
could
what he
be.
decided to do, make parts for him.
Yeah.
Just make
Yeah.
parts.
You're also assuming that geographically they knew what the other was doing back then.
Yeah.
They got on Instagram, right?
Exactly.
The worlds apart. Yeah.
Yeah, they could have not known. Of course, how'd they get Teddy Roosevelt out there? That's
Maybe they took it to him.
He's probably game hunting or something. Like,
Oh, he's
hey,
game
we got something to show you. Yeah.
yeah.
They drove it to him at 7 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's
That's
it.
part of the Pony Express here.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because he was 19. I wonder if G was just like, I'll make a few cars. Oh, now I'll go do something else.
Could be. Yeah.
Well, I think
1908 ADHD.
so. The
Yeah.
thing that I quote to all young engineers, because I used to be a chief, and we had young engineers all the time. So I said the guy in charge of mission control that sent the Apollo 11 to the moon was 36 years old. And today we don't really give engineers credit. We're like, you're an idiot until you're at least 40.
All right.
And but no, the guy that was in charge of the whole program was 36, which means that he was probably 30ish when he started the project. And so the point that I'm making there is we like to think of kids, call them kids, right? We're like, you're just a 19-year-old. No, 19-year-olds are totally intelligent. As long as we tell them that they're intelligent and that they can do stuff and that they should have responsibility, they're completely capable of running the world.
Yeah.
And it's really intimidating for those of us that are not 19 anymore.
Right.
So we like to think of them as like these stupid kids that just graduated high school, but no, they're like Alexander the Great was 21
Yeah.
and conquered like
Yeah,
the
that's
known
true.
world.
Yeah.
So I think that young
Yeah.
people, we should be telling these stories to young people and be like, listen, if you're not conquering the world by the time you're 21, you're basically a slacker.
No pressure.
That's how to
Right.
communicate here. That's good parenting.
Age does not define what your capabilities are, is really what you're saying.
That's totally what-
Was that the same Alexander? He went to his bed crying because he had no more worlds to conquer.
That would be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know a lot of 19-year-olds that are like that.
Well, now there's that. Very much so. Very much so. So what do you think, Stacy? You think he had a good product patent strategy? He made a lot of parts.
Sure. I think, my son wants to build a flying car right now, and he's 22. So he's,
Oh wow.
but,
Just the right age for
yeah,
it?
just the right age. So it makes you wonder if there are things going on that we don't know about, maybe.
Yeah.
The Jetsons, I'm hoping it happens.
That's right. No, I know. That's
I
what
was promised a
roads are bad.
flying car in like the 80s. I don't know what
Oh.
happened.
It's the government's regulations.
Blame the government.
Also-
Yeah.
Also
Blame the
true.
government. Everybody else.
You work for a company that made helicopters, so
Oh,
if there's
yeah.
any inside track on this.
No, 100%. What it takes to certify an aircraft today. So the first Sikorsky helicopter, this guy made it in his backyard, and there's this video, and they use it for training. And there's a video, and the guy like takes off the ground, and then I'm gonna get really geeky here for a second. The way that the rotor responds to your rotor inputs and how fast you as a human can put an input. Sometimes you get in a resonance loop. In other words, like you push it forward and you like get jerked forward, so then you pull it back and you can't get out of it. You kind of
Ah.
so it threw the guy across the yard. He's like, as soon as it gets off the ground, it goes boom, and he chucks the guy across the yard.
Oh my gosh.
So that's how we used to design aircraft. Like
Yeah.
safety was not a concern.
Mm.
And so today, the FAA, like Bell's latest vehicle, took them. I don't know if I can quote the number. I know the number, but I don't know that I'm allowed to quote the number. Anyway, it took them. We'll say it took them 4 years of constant testing on 3 real aircraft
Wow.
to pass the bureaucrats, like the people that have never flown anything and the people that have never designed a helicopter, approving the paperwork. It took them 3 years to get that thing certified. Oh yeah, that's airworthy. Whereas the Sikorsky, the very first Sikorsky, they were chucking test pilots across the yard. So
You'll be fine, yeah.
when I say it's the government's fault that we don't have it's kind of a real statement. Like there's so much cost in the testing cycle that you can almost never recoup the cost.
Wow.
With everything also.
Yeah.
Very true.
And then when drones came out, the FAA said, like we're talking little drones, like little drones that all of us here can have.
Oh, yeah.
The FAA said, "Oh crap, there's going to be a whole lot of model airplanes in the air. We own all airspace above the blades of grass, and you have to pay us and go through a certification process to fly your model aircraft." Which, despite being a pretty large grab on sovereignty and people's rights, is absurd because that means that nobody can fiddle in their backyard. Like if they have a farm, you can't fiddle in
I was
invention.
going to say, do kites and balloons?
It gets really sketchy.
Yeah,
So those guys all left
Yeah.
and went to the ATF, and that's why the overreach. Sorry, just
yeah.
just making it seem.
I said Bell helicopter and I got you started. Oh, what do you think, Paul? You think a boring product can be just as lucrative as a flashy product?
Sure. There's a lot of boring products out there that make a lot of money.
Yep.
Everyday products, consumable products make a lot of money,
Yeah.
like paint.
Like
Never would-
paint.
you never would have thought
Yeah.
paint makes money, but people use it and they've used it for years and they'll never stop using it. You know, and they're
That's true.
continuing to replenish and buy paint all the time.
I wonder when the first paint
I don't know, never have even looked up that, but that's a good one, Don. You
Yeah,
have to do these
we'll have
deep
to-
dives into things.
we'll have to figure out paint
Mhm.
next.
All purposes fail, all finishes fail, so you have to do something to take care of them, you know, from battleships to walls, whatever.
So my wife and I went to Washington DC, and so while we were there, we went to Mount Vernon tour. So on George Washington's list for what he needs, his buying list for the year was paint. It was
Oh.
lead-based paint at the time, and they needed oil it, and so they would have to mix it every cycle. But every year they had to repaint the house, protect the house.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
Well,
Yeah.
actually, the Egyptians used paint, you know, they were the
Yeah.
first people to really
Yeah.
make paint from organic materials, but
Yeah.
of course,
Still,
in the
paint's
pyramids, you
paint.
find paint. So,
Yeah, and the first paintings are like, you're looking at 20,000 years ago.
well, yeah, inside of the caveman made
Yeah.
In
paintings.
France, yeah.
Yeah.
so they were doing home decor
Oh, yeah.
in caves.
Yeah.
Wasn't the cutest stuff, but yeah, they did. It's kind of mechanical.
Oh, all right. Well, let's fast forward the Wayback Machine all the way up to April 3rd, 2020, and I can't even believe that I'm saying April 3rd, 2020 is a historical date. But Marshall Haas made over $1 million during COVID by rapidly creating a new physical product. Get this, in 7 days. So let me pull this up right fast. I thought this was probably one of the most interesting, to be one of the most, and this is actually a post from him. This is kind of what keyed me into all this. So he said I made $1,036,175 during the COVID lockdowns by rapidly creating a new physical product in 7 days. And he goes on through the story actually on his site. He actually has this. And the funny thing, I remember that, Leo, do you remember me telling you about this? Because I remember this. Now, I thought it was a Kickstarter, but it wasn't a Kickstarter at all. And he tells the story. He says so he, just like everybody else, everybody's running and hiding in early 2020. So the world shut down. My wife and I just found out she was pregnant with her first child, and all of a sudden I was worried about my e-commerce and hotel business. I would guess you would at that time. So instead of sitting on my hands, I got busy creating. So this was the product. So during the COVID lockdowns, an idea for a product named the Touch Tool, which was a brass keychain hook, especially for the COVID world we lived in. It allowed you to pull open doors, press buttons at the gas station, etc., without touching those things with your hands. Full disclosure, I had an idea for something like this, but it was never this cool, and I didn't act on it. He did on his in 7 days. And so the final design was in 2.5 days, went into production on day 5 in China, launched on our website on day 7, 50,000 in sales by the end of the day, passed 100,000 in 2 days after launching the 8th day. And this was not a Kickstarter. I said by day 67, it was over $1 million. So this kind of outlines his timeline with all this. There's a sketch on day 1. I mean, every inventor I know, including myself, can relate to this. This is that ugly hand drawing where you're like, you think, okay, yeah, this is just my drawing for my crazy idea. So, but then he took these next steps. He just didn't leave it like that. I said, so he got people together. He got a fast product going, emailed the factory rep. Day 2, sent the first mock-ups, went through a ton of rapid iterations. You can see all his different designs and styles here. Went back over the 4th, let's see, went back and forth over iMessage and settled on the 2 to 3 final shapes to 3D print. Day 3, he had a 3D print. And there was it. It still wasn't quite final, but he had the 2. And then he says, I chose the final design, sent CAD to the factory in China for final pricing. And then day 5, using the CAD file, I got final pricing. The factory stayed late chatting to finalize the details. By the end of the night, I had placed my order with the factory for 1,000 units at $4.50 per piece. Before packaging and freight. They would be machined out of a solid piece of brass. My idea was for copper. I like his though. He did well with this. Day 6, while the factory got going, I got renderings and an animator. Wired a 25% production deposit to China. My factory sent an initial sample of photos and viewed in person for me. Day 7, using the renderings as the product images, I launched the product on Peel's website. That's a company that actually sells stuff like this. So I emailed Peel's customer list announcing the product and shared it on our socials. I kind of wonder if Peel's is not his website though. Immediately went nuts, and over 40,000 the launch day. And so the rest is kind of history. This was just really, and that's a really cool presentation, by the way, I thought. Day 67, over $1 million. So anyway, this guy was, and this is actually the product. It's still for sale still on the Peel website. I actually still want to buy one. Oh, and this is what I remember. I remember this video.
Yeah,
you remember this, Leo?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, I want this even without a pandemic.
Without the yeah, this is like I like this just anyway. Yeah. This would be great on a Tuesday. So it's a bottle opener. You can use it to push buttons. It's really cool.
Yeah, you hear about sprints in business, but this is like a real sprint, like 7 days. It's just bananas.
I don't think I've ever, and you know, Leo, you and I have worked with a lot of folks. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do it in 7 days.
No,
I
mean, it's a simple product, but still, I mean, that's remarkable. Yeah,
that's totally remarkable.
What do you think, Paula?
Well, I think it's a great product for sure. It's still making money.
Yeah.
That is.
I would imagine a lot less. Yeah, it's no longer everybody's his market. Now it's just OCD people like me who are his market. You know, what about Bob?
How do you drive sales to that, you know?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I think he's sold a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's telling the story because I've forgotten this story.
Well, he's got a book out.
And he's got a book and probably a course. And here's how I did it. Yeah, kind of deal.
The book's got a perfect name too. It's called Want Buy or something like that. Want Need, like,
oh
yeah. So
yeah, that is a cool name.
It's a catchy title too.
Yeah. So what, Stacy, what do you think?
That's what I was saying. He could do a movie. He can keep making money, probably.
Yeah,
because of
just
that.
not selling the specific tool, but
Right.
what do you think was his secret to getting it up and running?
You know, I've stayed awake a lot of nights trying to develop products, but I always changed mine. Maybe he just stayed right on target. for
Well, he
what
had like
said.
seven,
Had
but
to
he,
have
in a
it
day, he went from 7 to
to
2.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did a good job at narrowing it down. Yeah.
That makes me think you should do a challenge for students or adults or anybody and say you've got 7 days to develop a
Yeah,
product and just
yeah.
see what they come up with.
Yeah.
I think the
Might
stars
work.
aligned with the universe and just because he narrowed it down to that, knowing that people were going to be very germ conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would be something they would think, well, this would serve the need. I would really carry this in my pocket. I will pull the trigger on this.
I think that's why he was in such a rush because, you know, he didn't know how long he had to capitalize on it.
And he did have a very small window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very small window.
We
You
were
know.
sewing face masks at that
There
time,
you
so
go.
I know
Your
how
business was
quickly
vertical
those
too.
sold. It was
Mm.
it was amazing, as fast as we
What-
could sew them and pack them, and we bought all the fabric we could buy and ended up finding a sheet manufacturer who actually sold us the ends, the scraps off of their sheets because no one had fabric.
Mm.
And so,
So
Yeah.
you were, I mean, they were just calling you right and left.
right.
We need
like-
masks, we need masks, we
Isn't
need
that how
masks.
we met you? I swear, weren't we talking to people about mask production?
We might.
I think that's actually kind of
Really?
what got you on our.
No, that was, I know who it was. It was
Oh,
Owl.
was it- oh,
Owl.
That's
Oh,
right.
yes,
Sorry.
yes.
about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, the folks at
I
OWL.
got mixed
Yeah.
up.
So when the video aired and when people started sharing the video of the Chinese face mask laying on the floor, do y'all remember seeing that?
Oh,
in the
yeah,
factory?
yeah,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
everybody was afraid of those disposable
Sure.
paper,
Well,
blue paper
sure.
mask. And
Yeah,
it was like,
like-
"Ah, what are we gonna do now?
Yeah, they all wanted.
So
the
then they
cotton
wanted
ones
your
that
product.
were made in Liberty, Kentucky.
Yeah, at least they
Yeah,
knew it
right,
hadn't been
yeah.
on the floor
That's right.
in
Yeah.
a sweatshop or whatever.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I was afraid I was
Or
gonna get
coughed
more
on or sneezed on.
from the mask.
Oh, I was.
Right, yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, goodness. So,
What a time that was.
so what do you think? You think there's opportunities that can abound in uncertain times like that?
Well, I think what's the untold portion of that story is he was already in the e-commerce business. So he
Yes.
already was familiar with how to go buy and source something from China. He was already familiar with how to make a website that sells products. He was already familiar with, he clearly had a 3D printer. So he had a lot of skills. He was just looking for, so he had all the skills necessary from a good product on. He had all those skills. And then his is a very, very simple product. And so he has this massive need and he had the business sense to do that. And so I think the untold story, the portion of the story is preparedness. Luck favors the prepared. Like he was fully prepared and then he just threw a new product on his assembly line.
Fortune favors
Wasn't
the prepared.
coincidental by any means. No.
Yeah. I, for instance, and I was actually kind of frustrated with this last political cycle. I was going to sell shirts to both sides. Like I was waiting for
You're
the,
not the first person I've heard tell
I was
this.
waiting for the next Black Lives Matter and I was gonna like sell shirts to them and then whatever the other side came up with, I was gonna sell shirts. Like I was just gonna sell both. And I was gonna buy Black Lives Matter, like, whatever.
Like the arms dealer selling to
Yeah,
both
that's what I was
sides.
thinking, yeah, like little words
I
and
was
stuff.
waiting for the slogan to arise like Black Lives Matter was, and I was gonna buy Black Lives Matter Lexington Georgetown like I was just getting all them, like all of them, and I was gonna sell shirts to all of those communities,
And nothing happened.
and nothing happened. And I was like, the only reason I follow
Waiting on a
politics is for
major
the.
rally to sell a shirt.
Anyway,
So
I'm still sore about it.
The moral of the story is wait till the next disaster happens and then
Get the
just,
printing press ready.
and
Get
then
it
go
up.
fast, go really, really, really fast.
I have a
Oh,
friend
gosh.
that only invests on crises. So like
Really?
the BP oil spill, like a decade ago now, 2 decades ago now, he bought so much BP. And then like when the VW,
Wow.
like the diesel gate, he's like, that company's fundamentally fine. So he just bought a whole bunch. So he just waits till there's like a big story in the news and then he goes and buys a bunch of their stock and then sell it when he goes back up to the original
That
price.
makes sense,
How
yeah.
many
Yeah.
billionaires got made over the last
Yeah.
2 days, 3 days? in the
Oh,
stock
yeah.
market? A
Yeah.
lot of
Yep.
loss, but there was also a lot of people who gained.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
true.
By the dip.
By the dip, yeah.
Absolutely.
So anyway, yeah.
So we just gotta wait till the next
Well, you
whatever.
gotta set
and-
up the system. You have to know what you're, like, you have to have production system in place. And then you have to wait for the slogan.
Tariffs, you need to make a tariff shirt.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. You can't get the t-shirts from China though.
You
You
gotta
get it
let
from
me make
Stacy,
them. You
yeah.
gotta let me make
Well,
them.
hey,
Make
we've
the shirt.
got the right
If you
person
can
right
get
here
the
for that.
fabric,
Yeah.
the cotton
Yes.
fabric has to be made in the United
Yeah,
States.
we had to do it right in
Maybe I
Liberty.
could play off somehow like, I don't have a shirt yet, like some sort of thing.
I can't afford a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Made in
Can't afford a
Liberty,
t-shirt.
Kentucky,
There we go.
Yeah, or we could make
zero
a shirt.
tariffs.
Yeah,
This
that,
t-shirt costs $150.
or we could make one that's real wonky, like the sleeves are messed up and the collar's messed up
Made in
and say,
Kentucky.
yeah, made in Kentucky. We some in Kentucky because we couldn't get them from China.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
Tariff thing.
Oh.
is
It turned into a
agitated.
mastermind.
Yeah.
Right.
tariffs are 145%. So you could say this $1 t-shirt now costs $145 on Temu.
On
Alibaba.
Temu.
Yeah, on Temu. Shein.
Mm.
That's the other one.
Re-
Yeah.
Reconcile.
Shein in the Temu.
Yeah. That's funny.
Oh,
Could be.
all right. Well, I'll tell you what, let's move over to some inventions in business in the news. And the first one is Kawasaki says that they've created a robot horse.
All this.
Is this for real? Here, let's take a
I
look.
love the full circle of this, like we went off of horsepower.
From horsepower to now.
Yeah.
And here it is. Japan's Kawasaki has created Corleo.
Yep.
Oh, really? Corleo.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I didn't
Yeah,
even think
yeah.
of that, yeah.
A four-legged robot that runs, climbs, jumps like a horse, powered by hydrogen, and feels like riding a sci-fi creature. Here, I've got something else on it. Here's a little more. I'm surprised it's hydrogen powered, although I've kind of been team hydrogen for a long time.
That's cool. Waiting on the hydrogen.
I'm waiting on hydrogen fuel.
Right.
Yeah,
Converting oxygen, right?
exactly. So, unveiled. So it says it was unveiled a preview at the Osaka and
Kansai.
Expo. Thank you, Leo. And yes, we checked. Corleo is powered by hydrogen fuel cells. Here's the video on it. Here, let's see if we can play the video.
Question is that a real video or do you think
Looks
it's?
like
Okay, you
it's
see,
like-
that's my big
It's gotta be a
question.
concept
Yeah, I believe
video.
that's fake.
I don't think that's a real person
That's definitely.
riding on top of a mountain.
I have a little anxiety with that like cliff
Yeah,
shot.
it makes me a little nervous.
And really, it's
not
more like a
real,
goat
completely
than
AI.
a horse in that respect, like the way it's structured.
Oh, there you go.
But that's not as
He
marketable.
can fly, maybe. I don't know.
Robotic goat. No, it doesn't really play as well.
I think it's cool that it's got a like a terrain map display. That's really cool.
That's what those little lines were.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's not just tracking where you are, but tracking altitudes.
It's like sensors and oh yes,
So you
the
don't go over
purple
a
head.
cliff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm calling AI on this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
There's a documentary about this called Horizon Zero Dawn. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't end well.
And that's a still shot of it. Yeah, I mean, just kind of odd. So what do you all think?
So is the value of it that you can, it's all terrain? Is that the
Yeah.
real
I
thing?
It
think
gets-
it's gonna be like the four-wheeler killer, basically. Yeah.
That's what they want it to be?
Yeah.
I can't imagine most people want to
But-
ride that thing versus. a four-wheeler.
Have you ever flipped a four-wheeler though?
Well,
Took one of those.
Well,
I was
There's
gonna
no roll
say,
cage on that thing.
what if it trips?
Yeah, I think about half the attraction of the four-wheeler for a kid is the noise.
Mhm.
Hey, it's
So
the,
you
That
just,
is a roll cage.
so this
I'm
would be
thinking,
like-
hey,
when they make electric cars and they add the
The
roar of
speaker on
the
it.
engine sound to it.
It's May Nay.
Yeah.
May Nay, yes.
Oh,
The
so what-
name
Just
for
though the
it.
horses in the Kentucky Derby did not become those horses.
Oh,
That'd be
that'd
bad.
be, I'd be willing to bet though on robot horse races. That actually sounds really
I would,
fun.
I would bet on that. Like,
Yeah.
I would go watch that. and bet on
That would be so cool, yeah. Kenley
Ro-
needs like a cyberpunk venue for this.
There
And,
we go.
Oh, I'll bet Newt Zadig could do that.
oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
They just got to build robot horses though.
yeah.
Yes. But what do you think? Real, fake, AI hallucination, cool, or just plain creepy?
I think we'll get there. And when we do, I want one. So there's that.
I think riding a horse is a lot more ab work and like leg work. Like when you sit in a car, or you do an ATV or you do a dirt bike, you're sitting and you're like going. Dirt bike's a little bit more active, but I don't think that'd take off because I think we all like to sit in the car. Like we like to sit in a nice
That
plush.
seems very exposed to me.
That's yes,
Yeah.
agreed.
A motorcycle over rough
No one would
terrain.
do that.
Yeah. That's why I like cars over motorcycles because I like having a shell. I like being in the shell. If it hits something,
Yeah.
I'm still inside.
Yeah. Well, I talk every time I take a road trip somewhere, I just like a marvel at our road system. Right? Like
Mm,
1776, you would have had to have a horse to get anywhere because the roads were just muck.
yeah.
Right? They were just trails, and if it rained, it was just terrible. Today we can like move absurd amounts. I don't even know the numbers, but like trillions of pounds of stuff all around our cities all the time. I can just when I sell something, I can just email the Econo Print in Lexington, and he for $15 will put my box anywhere in America
Yeah.
within 3 days. Like
Yeah.
it will show up in their mailbox.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's
It reminds me of Kathleen Madigan, the comedian, talking about the postal service, where it's like, here's 35 cents, take this to Alaska. And it's just kind of amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Plus when the price of stamps go,
Well, yeah.
Right. Yeah, totally.
too much. I don't believe that should cost 30%. Take this to your grandmother across the world.
Oh, all right. Well, let's see. We've got one more here. So scientists bring back extinct dire wolves. Have you all seen this? This is pretty wild. Going from robot horses to real animals. So it says here you're hearing of the first howl of a dire wolf in over 10,000 years. Meet Romulus and Remus, the world's first de-extinct animals born on October 1st, 2024. And if I click on this, I think I can get sound. No, I can't. Hang on, guys. I know what I need to do here.
This is like Dolly the sheep.
Yeah.
This reminds me of Dolly the sheep.
Except this one will eat you.
Except this one will eat you. I got to optimize for sound. Hang on, guys.
Could you make a wolf in sheep's clothing now?
Oh, there we go.
You could crossbreed Dolly and that.
And that. Then you could have
Right.
a dire sheep.
Yeah.
There she.
Here's your t-shirt.
Well, now you really have a t-shirt. Well, we ought to have sound now, and we don't.
Sweet.
I think you probably train them.
You could domesticate it.
Your camera.
That's my.
Or micro.
Is it my Sorry, guys.
There we go. No worries.
I think optimizing for sound didn't help.
All right, so related to that, it implies that you could get a customized dog just the way, like you could order a dog the way you want it. So would you all order a dog, like a customized?
Well, there's a thing now called Repet where you can clone your
go.
deceased
Oh,
pet.
really?
Yeah, it's called
Oh,
Repet.
really?
Yeah.
We've been doing that with horses
Yeah.
in Arab Emirates. for
They're
years.
very expensive, but for some people who want something genetically identical to their previous pet, it's a thing. Yeah.
Wow. So Darwell's, so this genetic engineering company called Colossal Biosciences which to me just sounds like an evil company name.
Mm.
I don't know.
I mean, they took a leaf right out of Jurassic Park.
Well, they did. Announced it has suddenly brought back to life the dire wolf from
I'm not seeing
extinction.
that on the screen. If it.
Oh, we're not?
Oh, yeah, different tab.
Oh, do I not have the right tab up?
No, that's LinkedIn.
Oh, well, that doesn't help at all, does it? Here, let me stop share. Another glitch, folks. We're getting there though. There we go. Now I'll bet you can see it.
There we go.
Yeah. Remind me to look at the monitor. All right. So this company called Colossal Bioscience, which I just think it's an interesting name. Wasn't there like an evil movie, an evil company in a movie called Colossus or
I think that's right. I
Yeah.
can't remember what film, but
yeah,
yeah.
something.
We got their name.
So they use domestic dogs as surrogate mothers for 3 dire wolves. And then some people have been throwing a little shade on it, saying, well, they're not really, I was trying to see if they said that
And they're
here.
technically right. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
what they've done is they've found genes that correlate to direwolf traits, and they've modified those genes and put them in conventional wolves, which is their closest living relative. And that's what their plan is for everything. They're planning on bringing the dodo back. It's got a relative, some tropical pigeon that doesn't look anything like a regular pigeon, by the way. To bring the dodo back, they're going to try to bring back the woolly mammoth. They've already got woolly mice as a result. So you really could have dire sheep.
The sheep.
Well, then
Yeah.
they bring back a dinosaur. And,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Well, that's the thing that's a
Yeah, I
little
don't want to.
surprising
No, I
about
don't
this
either.
is direwolves aren't extinct because of people. Dodos are. Tasmanian tigers, that's one of their projects, are. And what was the other one I mentioned?
Dodos.
Dodos, Tasmanian tiger, and oh shoot,
Woolly
woolly
mammoth.
mammoths.
Woolly
Woolly
mammoth.
Those it kind of makes sense because we drove all 3 of those to extinction. So it kind of makes sense to bring them back. Whereas direwolves really don't know what the motivation is. I mean, I think it's cool, but I don't know
they
if there's
were carnivorous. They were.
very yeah. I mean, in fact, they ate a lot of people back in the day.
Oh,
So
they're not gonna be picky.
no, and they're much bigger. Like these are already, they're not even half grown yet, and they're already, I want to say, 80 pounds.
Whoa.
And so they're going to get a lot bigger, big pups.
So what do you think? You think if just because they can do it, you think they should?
No.
Oh,
No.
I still want one.
If they make one, you
Yeah,
want one.
direwolf, yeah, definitely.
I don't think you can.
They're not domesticated.
I was going
no.
to say, I don't think you could
They,
domesticate one of those.
Yeah. No, it's going to be like Jurassic Park. They are going to eat somebody at some point.
Mm.
And that's how they all go bad.
Mm.
All right, one more news item here. So this Inventors pooper scooper scans the skies for scooping poop. This was kind of an odd story.
Skies?
Mm.
Poop in the sky?
Poop in the sky. So Lino Lakes man invents flying pooper scooper called the Poop Copter. Let's see if I can get the sound on this one. Was it the next one? No,
It's not gonna be a good sound.
no, it was. I'll bet it's.
I think I figured it out. Gina has to share the clip and have it on her device. That's the deal.
Well, that's the guy, and sorry for no sound, guys. But he has. So this is how it works. So it lands on the poop. It's got like a chamber inside, and it picks it up. I think it turns, and then like a little floor kind of scoots across the bottom, and then it picks it up. And what I thought was really interesting was the way it disposes of it. It will, you can fly it anywhere you want, and then it slings, and it opens up and slings all the poop back out somewhere else. So I don't know. This just, yeah, see, there it goes.
Sounds like a great invention.
Carry it to your neighbor's yard.
Well,
Or
yeah,
somebody-
You don't like.
Haven't
Put it in their mailbox.
Your ex-husband.
you know somebody's gonna do
Ex-husband's
that.
windshield.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it says even here, otherwise you could fly over your neighbor's house, spin fast enough, and since there's no motors, it's on track. So yeah, I don't know, folks. What do you think about that? Is that here's the yeah, he says it. Yeah, the owner self says it's full of crap. Here's some pictures.
If he modified that to wrap it up in those little green plastic bags and dispose of it properly, I think
Yeah.
this would be great. Because
Would want it.
yeah, my neighborhood, it makes me mad having to watch where I step. So
Yep.
yeah, this would solve that problem.
And there's some fake poop on the ground that it's picking up.
Yeah, I've got two huskies, two 90-pound huskies, and I can go out with the pooper scooper in my, plastic bags and do it much faster, much cheaper, and much more efficiently, and then throw it in the trash.
There you go.
That's
As
what's going
opposed to learning how to fly something that's going to throw it in the forest and then it draws the bears. And
But
I would
what
much
about
rather
when
do-
you get dire
solve a
wolves?
problem that don't
Who's
exist.
gonna clean it in?
Well,
Lift
dog,
up a dire wolf.
dog poop does draw the bears, and I just soon clean up the dog poop and throw it in the trash, than have the bears come saying, "What's that smell?"
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the dire wolves will come and get it.
Eat you.
But the dire wolves will leave little friends in the yard. So, all right, guys. Well, so what do you think? Do you think there's any unintended consequences from using this product?
I think it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It kept that man inside and away from and away from regular society for a long period of time. No,
Working on that design.
No, I got when my kids were 9, I got into Nerf guns with them. And so we got pulling apart Nerf guns, and we like soldered them together and we like upgraded them. They were fantastic. We actually successfully drew blood with the Nerf gun at one point.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it's a lot of fun to tinker. And I think it does build a lot of the skills that you need to be able to execute on the keychain idea when it comes. So I think, you got a project that keeps you happy, it's better than
Hey.
All sorts of other things you could be doing.
Mm.
Very true.
That's,
Stacy, would you buy one?
I don't think I would buy one.
Well,
That's one thing I probably would not buy.
Pass.
how about you? Pass?
Pass on.
Yeah, me too.
Heck, yeah.
Yeah.
Can it do a litter box?
Yeah, just pick up the litter box or a litter box Roomba or something.
Really good.
Oh.
There are those. aren't
Yeah, I
there?
was gonna say,
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
like a tumble dryer for litter. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, we've got some featured inventor entrepreneurs in the room with us tonight. And so first I want to kind of focus, Stacy, on you
Sure.
and your so let me pull your website up and you can just talk a little bit about what you all are doing down at Stitch, Kentucky.
Okay, so Stitch Kentucky actually started in my garage at home. It wasn't by that name at that time, but I had invented a children's t-shirt product that had a little girl on it. She was screen printed on the shirt and she had snaps on her head and on her body, and she was like a paper doll.
Oh, fun.
And so today you could dress your little girl in a rain jacket or cap. Tomorrow she could wear a bow and a ballerina costume. So we started that. It was really fun. It was fun. We made careers. We did Halloween costumes. We did all kinds of things that could be interchanged. And we sold the Cracker Barrel, which was
Whoa.
fabulous. So that was a fun portion of the ride. But we were making those, and my mother actually said, "We've got all these women here who worked at Oshkosh. Get some of them to help you sew." And so that's what I did. And so now we've still got some of those women. We've changed from selling snap dolls to now we sew for other people. Sold the snap doll idea to a toy company. And now we just sew. So like I said, we've sewn automotive, and we're doing some costumes now for dance company for samples. We've got athletic products. We sell for a company called Bandy, sew for a company called Bandy. And they've got all kinds of neat products that are coming out. But the art of sewing is not as frequent in the house as it used to be.
Mhm.
So in our community, actually, our middle school has a sewing class, which is unheard of.
Wow.
And so we feel like maybe that's going to get us some more people. So Liberty may be
Nice.
the sewing capital of the world.
You're,
before
you're, you're growing them,
long. Yeah,
right there in the middle school.
that's right.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
So during the time of the face masks, of course, we needed everybody we could find. And so one of the football players came to ask me if he could, one of our hometown football players, and he wanted to know if he could learn to sew because it was the only way he could get out of the house to see his girlfriend who worked. And so it worked out great. And I got lots of football players there. So
Wow.
anyone
All
can
right.
sew. It doesn't matter
That's
your
fantastic.
size.
I'm just envisioning all these football
Okay.
players at different stations sewing.
But they were able to come work and see their girlfriends, and their parents wouldn't let them out of the house otherwise. So
You gotta do what you gotta do.
that's
Yeah,
right.
that is
But
wild.
seriously, we have room for more products. So we're hoping to be able to keep the train going and keep sewing. We've done a lot of crazy things. You know, I could,
Go say, what's the most interesting
gosh,
product
the-
you've ever sewn?
Probably the most interesting was a lady that wanted gloves, but she wanted them to have 6 fingers.
Oh,
I'm not
Okay.
sure why. I don't know what she
She
was doing.
never,
yeah.
she never
I
said
really
why.
didn't ask.
I mean,
How
there's
many
people,
pairs did she want?
She just wanted to know if we could do them. She thought she
There's-
could mass
there's
sell them.
people with 6 fingers.
Well, there are,
and-
but this was something, she had another idea.
Oh,
We didn't ask. We just
Yeah.
said, okay. So we
No
tried that.
way.
Yeah. But
We'll
At least
do
on the
it if you
website,
want
no
us
questions
to.
asked.
Yeah, no question. Bring us your product and we will not ask you.
No matter how bizarre or strange or anything.
That's right.
Oh,
So-
what was the hardest part, you think, for the whole process for
You know, the hardest part was probably becoming someone who people believed could do, you know, we are in Liberty, Kentucky, and they wanted to go to California or
Yeah.
other places to get their products made. That was just more glamorous. But I think after we started sewing for people, they realized that maybe our people were better seamstresses than what you could find somewhere else. So
Mhm.
we have a large Amish community, and we've taken things when we were really in need of help. We would take things out to the Amish homes, and we'd take them in totes, and they would sew them, and we'd go back, pick them up the next day. So
Wow,
She did piecework.
that's right. Yeah, they do
Wow.
piecework.
that's
So-
fantastic.
We won't quit. We'll keep trying till we get it done.
Wish I had somebody.
Yeah.
What helped you the most in the whole process?
You know, I think the most help was probably just being able to have contacts and connections, just like you all. The connections that we had, or the connections I'd made earlier in life
Mhm.
through my toy product, and it just got the word out, I
And the
think.
internet had to change your whole
Oh,
business.
well, of course.
projection.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
of course.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Internet changes everything,
It
doesn't it?
does. Yes, sir.
Imagine the world without it.
Yeah.
Just have a Rolodex.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But you would be surprised what has stitches in it. Seriously, the things that are sewn and the things that people use, you don't think about it. And boy, when you shop now, I can see all the problems with the products. after a few days. You know, they're
Oh,
easily
okay, they
seen.
did this wrong
Yeah.
and this needed to be changed
Oh,
over here and.
Why did they not do it this way? So
Imagine your phone's gonna ring off with the tariffs.
I hope,
I can't
know.
imagine that it's
Yeah.
not
I
heading
know.
all your way.
no, I
Just
hope
shifted
that it
in your
will.
Direction.
Yeah, we have
So-
our fingers crossed and
There's no doubt
everybody's
about it.
excited.
Absolutely.
So if someone has a sewing project and they need it done, or they have a current supplier in China and the world has kind of changed for them,
Right.
they need to go to the sewing capital of Kentucky in Liberty.
That's right. That's right. So
Exactly right. So where do they find you?
stitchkentucky.com. Yeah,
Stitchkentucky.com.
of course, they can email me and we can talk about anything. It's Stacy, STACEY at stitchkentucky.com.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
All right, Paula.
Oh, okay.
So, yes.
Paula, tell us your story about if you want to tell what you've done, where you're at, or what
Well,
you're doing
you know,
now, or
I
what you're
think-
about to do,
well,
or all the above.
All the above. Well, it's a long story, so I'll make that the Reader's Digest version of it. But I'm a serial entrepreneur, just like Stacy. I've kind of worn a lot of hats and done a lot of things. And oddly, my career started in the sewing industry. I designed leather stage wear for country music entertainers for 10 years of my life. And being a seamstress actually teaches you a lot of things about visualizing and just how to put things together and seeing something in 3D, learning how to make something fit someone's body. You know, all those things in my day were preceded anything of CAD drawings, internet, and all that. You know, all mine was just sloping and draping and trying to figure out how to make something fit someone and they could be comfortable in it. But I sold leather stage wear. So anyway, all that said, and been a interior designer and done commercial design work for all of my days, mostly, and a retailer for 23 years in the furniture business in my hometown. But at 50, started in the paint business, never dreaming it was going to be something that would turn into anything. But thank goodness for the internet, and just kind of started promoting my paint brand and deciding to teach people how to use my products that I was creating to help them renew and restore furniture, whatever it was they were working on or needed to work on in their home, and knowing that all finishes fail in time. Everything's going to wear out. So I thought, wow, most people are like me. They are sitting around with just different cans of paint that do different things. And this one is flat, this one's shiny, this one's gloss, this one's matte, this one's a solvent, this one's a waterborne. Wouldn't it be great if there was one paint that did everything, that I wouldn't have all these extra cans and half full in the garage and all that? Wouldn't it be great if you could make a paint that would paint every surface, paint leather, paint smooth fabrics, paint wood, cabinets, laminates, plastics? So that's kind of where the mindset came from. If I could make one paint that solves all those problems, then people wouldn't have the waste. They could buy one can of paint and paint anything with it. So that's where All in One Paint came about. And I started working with a dial chemist in North Carolina. And about 2 years in, developed a great formula and started marketing it under the name All in One Paint, which turned out to be a great URL. Yeah, that's probably one of the best pieces of IP that I own today is that URL. But now today, my competition is using my name All in One Paint on everything, keywords and all those good things. But they're still driving me good traffic. So all happy when they bring out something that says All in One Paint by so-and-so. That gives me a good one because I got the website All in One Paint. So the organic is coming to me at least. But anyway, the internet's been wonderful. And I have 7,000 videos on Facebook alone. So
Wow.
got a great wealth of, kind of crazy to even during that you'd have 7,000 videos. That's kind of an amazing. They're not all good videos. I will go ahead and say that. But that's where it started right there in 2013, and started sharing it to Facebook. Facebook wasn't a video platform at the time. It was just an image. So then it turned into video, and then all of a sudden they opened up the live format, which was wonderful for me. So that became the actual key to my business right there.
Really?
I thought, well, I'm just going to make myself a QVC. I'll just be QVC on my phone. At the time, QVC was very popular, but nowadays it isn't. But back in those days, it really much was the thing. So I thought, I can do that now with my own phone. So I learned how to connect the dots here. And so here we are. We just continued on and learning more about just e-commerce and all the things there. Took every old fashioned road I could take. Started off selling my product to mom and pop retailers around the country. Realized there was more stores closing than there were opening. And then decided to put it into the hardware chains, got it in there, and realized there was a lot of things going on there that I couldn't control. And we talked about that off camera earlier. Let's not throw those guys under the bus any further. But I realized that my biggest competition, that was the looming giant in the room, was Amazon. And either beat them or join them. So, or they're going to be beat by them or join them. So I decided that I went out to their event this past fall and made a decision that they are the only way, because every consumer I know gets up and there's only one website they go to, and they're not going to push in my website. They're going to push in Amazon because they bought something there yesterday. And then if they do buy my product, Amazon's going to remind them to buy some more, and they're going to see it there ever present. So driving digital ads, as you know, is more expensive. The highway's full and expensive to get people through an ad, although we do ads. Still yet the eyeballs are going to Amazon. So again, we just become a warehouse shipping to Amazon virtually. So our own website and Amazon, but Amazon's now surpassed my website sales.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
How long have you been doing the Amazon?
Well, I started doing Amazon early, probably in 2016 was the first start to do Amazon, but I couldn't figure it all out. I couldn't figure out how to get a barcode and didn't know all of those pieces. Finally figured that out. So I started into it thinking it was a great avenue to sell. And then I changed my mind. I decided they were not a great avenue. Didn't think it was, I thought they were going to rip us off, and they were.
They've got a
doing those
reputation.
things.
Yeah.
And, that was whenever they were selling Apple, all the Nike products and all that, all that talk was going on. And I thought, I'm just going to back off of this Amazon thing and just push my own website. So then digital ads were great. And, our ROAS was tremendous, and we continued to do that, created a great call to action, created a great, we do a free sample giveaway, and that has been a tremendous customer addition for us and bringing a lot of new customers our way. And just looked at those things that way, using Facebook as a key to help people find our group. Then from there, find our website, and we can actually remarket to those people, and just growing our email list and text list and all that. So it's been an amazing little journey.
What was the hardest part for you?
Oh, there's been several hard parts. I mean, there was times whenever we were selling into the hardware chains that the first payroll check that never cashed. Those were some dark days. But we changed from that moment forward, and I just could not grow the business. In 2017, we could just never break the 1.2 million, 1.3 million. We were just so struggling, and that, we had employees, we'd have to lay them off and that kind of thing, just going through the ups and the downs of that. We just could not break out of that. So the first year in 2016, we took a couple $100,000 backwards. It's like, man, oh man, I'm either going to have to quit or get another job. This is going to kill me. And that's the same year that I told you I sold the stuff into Camping World. So I decided that if I was going to do all the heavy lifting and I'm going to do all the hard work and have to educate the customer about how to use the products, that actually I had created a Facebook group that was full of hundreds of thousands of users of my products who were hoping that they could figure out where to go buy the product. I had the tool. It was called the website. Just had stayed away from the website since I was trying to entertain retailers. I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tear up that order from Tractor Supply. I'm going to walk out there and I'm going to turn that camera on, and I'm going to tell those folks on that Facebook group that I'm going to sell to them at a discount rather than selling it to retailers at a discount, and I'll ship it from my own website. I'm going to create a color card that is accurate, sprayed on color card. And that's what I did. I gave them an example that they could trust in their own home, and they could see it in their own lighting, and they could say, hey, that is the color I'm going to receive. It's exactly what we did. We did $100,000 to make that color card. Was money I didn't have at the moment. So it was a scary thing to make that color card, but it was what prevented me from actually being able to sell to a customer in their home. So that was the heavy lifting right there. So when we did that, of course, we improved our website at that time and started into a custom website with Magento and getting away from framework type websites, and built the custom website where it was an educational as well as an e-commerce site. So they could get the videos and understand what they're buying, and teaching them how to use the product as well as showing it for sale. So we did that. That was the key. That was the driver right there that opened the door to being able to be successful.
Do you think that was the thing that helped you the most?
Lots of things happened, but that was the big thing. So that first year we started it. So I'll tell you guys this out there, because I hate to say this, but sometimes when you hire people as consultants, let's say, back in that day, it was a big gray area about doing digital ads. And you think, well, I'll hire this consultant. Okay. Well, I hired some. And I was so convinced that this consultant, this first one that we hired, $10,000, I gave this fellow to do digital ads. He took my money. I was so convinced that he was going to change our world overnight with this digital ads he was going to run, that I was telling my crew there, we're going to have to hire people to answer these phones. These phones are going to ring. Somebody's going to have to answer these phones. That's what I thought was going to happen. Not a single phone call came, and I never could tell he ever ran an ad. He never showed me the back end of a digital ad, the back end of anything. He never showed me where any ads ran. So I could never tell there was an ad. And I tried it again with another thing, tried another company to do digital ads for us, another zero, no, nothing. Didn't tell it even happened. So the day that I decided that I was going to basically take control of my own business, I said, here's what I'm going to do. I did not even know that my iPhone had iMovie on it. I had no idea that I had the capability of making some sort of a video. Didn't even know what was on there, but I had heard that. Well, I'll try to make a video. And a girl in my office there, she said, I'll try to learn how to run ads on the video. I said, I'll make you a video, you make an ad. So that was the first year that we hit $4 million in sales. The next year we hit 10 million.
This is a little
Wow.
red hen story. Yeah. Make the
That was
pile by yourself.
2017 and 2018. It's just been phenomenal since that point.
Wow.
It's never stopped.
And if somebody wants to buy
All in one paint, you can get a free sample. Just
all
go
in
there.
one paint.com.
Yeah. You can go to
Yeah,
all in paint.
beautiful
Get a free
website.
sample. Thank you. That's a new visualizer that you're looking at there. So you can take a picture of your home and then put it on there, and you can pick out a color and see which color looks good on your cabinets, your countertops.
That's the coolest thing to me. Augmented reality decorating.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are great. That's a new thing called Roomvo for us right there.
Mhm.
You just put that on.
That is just wow. Well, so cool.
Thank you.
So cool.
Thank you for the opportunity
All
to
right.
tell my story. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate that. And Stacy, I mean,
Absolutely.
you all have you all just the prime example of what people need to do and to move forward. So
We're seamstress.
yes.
Blue satin shirts.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. We both wear blue
Yeah,
satin
right.
shirts. Didn't plan
I
it.
didn't plan it, but
Did not plan it.
Drew, I understand that you're giving a talk in the
Yeah.
near future.
So I'm a consultant.
oh no. Oh, you don't do digital ads, do you?
But he doesn't do digital ads
Don't
for
tell me you do
$10,000.
digital
I
ads.
actually expressly don't do digital ads.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Show
Show me the console, the back end though, if you did. I know you.
I would, no. So I actually, what I do with, so my background is engineering, and people meet me and they're like, man, you're so personable. Are you sure you were in engineering? But for me, engineering was always just a mechanism to serve people and to make sure people got taken care of. And so I built a big team at Lockheed. We did a bunch of complicated things. And my passion, and I've been coaching entrepreneurs for almost a decade now. That's kind of that's how Dawn and I got to meet each other. So I'm doing a web or a live lunch and learn called How to Grow Your Small Business. And there are 6 parts to a business: leadership, which is, making the tough calls, but also saying the stuff that motivates your team. And then the products that you sell, the marketing messages that you have, the sales messages, like marketing brings them in, but then you have to still close them, right? And then the operations that puts it all together, and then cash flow. And so I tell folks, you don't have to have a business degree to master your business.
I don't have a high school degree. Does that help?
Right. And in fact, I would say of the business owners that I know, the less education they have, the less formal education they have,
Yeah.
the more scrappiness they have, the more successful they are.
Totally agree.
So on the marketing and sales side, the only thing that I do with a client is we just really work through who's your ideal client and what are the problems that they have, and then what is the messaging that you need to help them with. But that's evergreen. Once you figure that out, you can make an ad for Easter, you can make an ad for Christmas, you can make an ad. And you do need to make ads, whether it's organic marketing or paid. You need to be out there, but you need to be saying that brand messaging over and over and over again.
Yeah, beat them in the head with it, right?
Yeah. So I help with the brand messaging. And honestly, I can help you a web wireframe a website, but I don't make websites. I'm not great at it. It's not my skill set. I don't make pretty things. I make functional things. And so all of my girls, I have 2 girls and 2 boys. My girls are like astounding artists. And I'm like, I don't understand why those colors don't match. Like, I feel like they do match. and my daughters tell me I'm wrong all the time.
So, Drew, I understand that you have a lunch and learn coming
Yeah,
up.
lunch and learn. If you're in Nicholasville on Wednesday, the 16th, we're going to the Central Bank, and I'll be there for 90 minutes. The presentation is probably 35 minutes, and then I'll be there for Q&A. So if you have a small business in Nicholasville and you're like, hey, I want to talk to somebody, Drew on Demand,
All right.
come visit. It's $20.
Cool,
Lunch is
cool.
there. And then I also have one the next week in Georgetown. So
Oh,
if you're in the Lexington area and you would like to pick my brain, I'd love to have a chat.
Nice.
So if they want to know more about Drew Sutton, where do they,
DrewSuttonLeadership.com.
Drew Sutton Leadership?
So you were talking about the colossal, like the science company, it's colossal something, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Colossal. So my first company was an engineering consulting firm, and it was Barksdale Rutherford,
I remember
which is very snooty. And we chose those two names on purpose, and like had like a
Does it
Navy
sound
card.
snooty?
Yes,
Yeah.
like a Navy card, and it was like gold and embossed foil.
So did they
All
not
made up
mean
names.
anything?
It's a made up.
Just made up names.
Made up
Somebody
names.
made up names.
Oh my
Not that they
God.
have a little meaning to us, but like mostly they just make up. But then I found that the website and my email address was drew@barksdale-rutherford.com. I had to spell it out to literally everybody I talked to. They're like, how do you spell that? And
Yeah.
and I had to type it in, and like every website you go to, like I was like, all right, new website, DrewSuttonLeadership.com, Drew@SuttonLeadership.com. It's very easy. Everybody can do it. So anyway.
Oh,
But it did
So
work
cool.
because several people that became clients, they were they're like, who's Barksdale? And I would say, you don't know Barksdale?
well, you're not in the in crowd then.
It's okay. It's a boutique firm. We only work with exclusive clients.
Oh.
Retired now.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, how cool is that? All right. Well, I think that's it. Any parting thoughts anybody has?
It was fun.
We all know where to find everybody. Thank you
Yeah.
all so much for being with us tonight. We really, really appreciate you spending a Friday night with us. Watch for news and announcements coming up. Watch your email inbox. If you are not getting emails from us, then check us out at kyinventors.org. Our next meeting, big open meeting, May the 6th. Stay tuned for that. There will be an announcement coming out. And the next Inventor Friday is going to be May 9th. You want to definitely join us for that because you don't know who's going to be in this room. So thank you all again. And we will look forward to seeing you soon.